Ahoy everybody and welcome to Draft That, a video game fantasy drafting series that is definitely the first of its kind on Twitch. It's never been seen anywhere on Twitch before, nor has it been seen on the replay side of things over on YouTube. We're far too unique for that. We're far too unique. We're making trends here. We're making trends here. But I hope everybody is well coming in to the show today. This is the first episode, the rebirth, if you will. Draft That was actually part of my wrestling podcast that I used to do back in the day. But now we've translated it over to video games, where I think, honestly, the topics are endless. Like, so you probably saw in that trailer, there was a couple of things in there. Weapons, levels, characters, heroes, villains, consoles. Like, there's so many things that you can draft. But then there's so many sub-drafts within that as well. Like, this could go on for years if it goes well. And what I will say is this. The main premise of Draft That here is it's captain versus community. And the community is the big part here. So if anybody at all would like to take part in a future episode of Draft That, of course, today we're joined by the wonderful Daza. If anybody would like to take part, then please feel free to reach out to me. I've reached out to a couple of people already. But if anyone is interested and wants to do it, then I'm all ears. I've got plenty of subjects and topics and drafts to go through. So the offer is extended to you. So by all means, hit me up. Hit me up. But today's is a special one, and I couldn't really ask anybody else to join me to do this one today. So today's draft, it's a big one actually. It's really hard. And me and Dazzle will be going, well, I imagine telling you how hard our picks were in just a second. But today we are drafting video game OST tracks. So if the track has appeared in a video game, it's up for grabs. It is up for grabs. There are no... You can't have anything that's been remixed outside the game. It has to have appeared in the video game. But for anybody that doesn't know what the premise is today, it is video game fantasy drafting, of course. Both me and Dars will have 10 picks each. We'll both have 10 picks each. Choosing our own games, our own tracks from video games. We'll be taking it in turns. We'll do a coin flip at the very start to see who has the ultimate advantage. But it's not as simple as that. Like, this is Project Ditch. We do things a little bit differently here. So at the moment, we have one power-up that is live. One power-up, and that is a steel power-up. So what that means in terms of the draft is draft picks 1 to 4. So the first 4 rounds are set in stone. So whatever I pick for my first 4 picks, whatever Dars picks for his first 4 picks, are set in stone. They cannot be touched. However, from the 5th round onwards, the steel power-up is up for grabs. And what that steel does, if Dars picks something that is a really good pick that I may not have even thought of, I can steal it away from him, and vice versa. And we both get one of those each. There will be more power-ups coming in the future, but right now that is the only one that is available. But ultimately, this is a competition. It is me against the community. Today it's me against Dars. And you guys watching right now, or if you're watching a replay over the first week of this release, you get to vote on who wins the draft. So who has the best fantasy draft. And think of it as me and Dars are hosting an event in a theater. We got an orchestra there, loads of musicians, and we go, right, here's 10 tracks from video games. Here's 10 tracks from video games. You play it, the audience sits there, and if the audience goes, you know what, Ditz's was a lot better, or you know what, Dars's picks were a lot better. That is essentially what the premise is today. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to go. This has been a couple of months in the waiting, actually. But we've decided to pull the trigger on this, and I'd like to shout out my my sponsor for Draft That, Project Fit, which is in no way associated with me, and no way did I come up with it. Project Fit, fitness apparel for your everyday fitness needs. If you would like some Project Fit merch, then you can go to the Project merch store which will be somewhere in the description if you want to go check that out. And there may be a little surprise at the end of this episode for anybody interested in a little bit of merch as well. Or you could just do some research and do a little bit of cheating right now and have a look, and it's there. But pretend you didn't see it. Pretend you didn't see it. Pretend you didn't see it. But what we're going to do, we're going to bring Dars in now to say hello to you, lovely people. And to provide the ultimate test of the the tentacle side of this episode. This might go horribly wrong. This is a pilot episode, after all. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Nothing. Dars, welcome on in. How are we doing?
Hello, how are you?
Well, that's a good start. I can hear your voice. But I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I'm all right. Real test will come when we actually try playing the music. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know we've spoken back and forth quite a bit over the last couple of weeks since I asked you to come on, but I think you've struggled as much as I have. Not necessarily struggled with picks, but keeping the picks intact because we've both changed our picks so many times.
It seemed so easy at the first. I thought, there's basically 10 I can think of right now. And so I'll just put those in. And then you look back and you think, no. Oh, well, and then there's that game I forgot, and so on. And even as I was checking how to pronounce a couple of names today, there was one where they started an interview with somebody, and the track they played was another one from the game that I picked. I thought, oh, no, that's a better track. Switch to that one. So, yes, it's been interesting.
But it's also painful. Like I've had some very stressful moments coming up with this top 10 because honestly, you could you'll know it straight away. One of my picks, I could literally have picked at least 40 tracks from the whole series and just had that as my draft. It's tough. Yeah,
certainly a few of those. But it's also the fact that I wanted to come up with ones that would be interesting for people to hear, not just. The obvious things that everybody knows. I thought, no, these are ones that I think are interesting.
And ultimately, that's what it's about. That is what it's about.
It is.
So we're not doing this as like a popularity contest. I mean, like, let's just choose every mainstream game, even though mine's kind of like that. Don't choose every don't go for every mainstream title with like the really big hit tracks that everybody knows, just so you can get the win. We haven't done it that way. We've designed it in a way that Dars has picked the tracks that he himself loves, and the same for me as well. But yeah, ultimately, you guys are the ones who vote. There may be a little bit of people, because considering this is captain versus community, people may side with Dars a little bit more here. Don't want any biased people out there. Just so you know, be honest with your voting. Be honest. But no, the reason I did choose Dars for one reason only. Well, actually, two reasons. Dars is fucking awesome. But secondly, yes. I chose Dars because I knew from the music background that he has, his choices would be massively in contrast to what I picked, and that just makes for a more interesting draft. So I couldn't have thought of anybody better to jump in and do this with me today. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
So what we're going to do is something very, very important, because this will ultimately determine who has the advantage. And honestly, I honestly don't think we're going to have any duplicates in this. But there may be drafts in the future where there are duplicates, and that's where this becomes more important. So we're going to be doing a coin flip to determine who goes first. Now, as you are my guest, Dars, and any guest from here on out, you will always get the pick. So the pressure's off me. The pressure is completely turned over to you. So all I will say to you now, Dars, is heads or tails?
Heads.
And there we go. Dars is going first. Dars is first up. Which is good, because I just get to sit back now and just listen to whatever you say. And I'll chime in every now and then, but it's all you. I can just sit back and say nothing now for the next 5 or 10 minutes. It works for me.
Well, the first thing I have to do is make sure you have the music, so I will just pass that on to you. This is my first pick. And it is... Wait for you to pick it up on your side.
Ooh, okay. Interesting, interesting. Right, so what we're going to do, well, just before we play this track, this is, oh, that's me. That's not the wrong one. See, I told you, technical thing. Here we go. We're in this screen here. This is where all the picks are going to lie. Of course, we're going to start over that side with Dars's first pick. But Dars, you are up. We'll let the track play for a little while so everybody can hear it. But here is Dars's first track. So, Dars, why did you pick this glorious track? I'm digging it so far.
Yeah, this is Shenmue, the Sedge Tree. This tune, I believe, is by Yuzo Koshiro, although it's also credited to Takeru Mitsuyoshi. It's just a fantastic soundtrack. It was one of the classic games from the Dreamcast, with a fantastic story. And the music helped it so much. It was so integral to that whole game. And that overriding theme, which you hear throughout the game in lots of different arrangements, there's a full orchestral one, which is magnificent. But this basic theme, you hear over and over again in different forms, and it so sets the scene. It just is a true classic, the art of creating a theme for a video game. That's why I picked it, because that really is a number one for me.
And this is why.
I also play it on keyboards as well.
Yeah, let's just throw that out there. That Dars is very talented. He's more talented than everybody else here. He can play this whole thing on the keyboard.
As a warm up if I'm playing keyboard. No, I didn't play that on the keyboard there, but I have. It's one of the things I use for a warm up sometimes if I'm playing. So it's a great tune.
It is a very, very good tune. And I just want to reiterate, this is exactly why I asked Dars to come on here. Because you hear that explanation that Dars has just given. Wait till you hear mine, which will be something along the lines of, it's a good track.
Well, ultimately, that's what it is when you think of these things. And, yeah, really, all you can say with I think all of our picks is that ultimately the things we like or are fascinated by in some way. But I always try to think, is the thing that really sets the scene for the game, and for me, that's the one.
It is actually, it's a very beautiful track. I've maybe only heard this once before. As soon as that opened up, I recognized it, but I'm not fully familiar with it. But that is a really good video game track. So would you say that that's your number one? Outside, so say Draft that wasn't even a thing. Would that be your number one track?
It's the one that I would go to readily and pick. That's the one that I think is probably the best one I've heard. Now, and of course, the downside is that it's a bit of it's a burner. It's not an upbeat, fast one with that you can dance to or something. At the same time, I'd like to have something with a bit of depth and even emotion to start with.
Yeah, and that's I was literally about to say that. You could feel like a little bit of emotion in that track, and it's very, very good. Very, very good. So Dars making a statement straight away with his first pick, the Sedge Tree from Shenmue. Now, I'm going to go find my pick, which I did actually consider. Bumping this one off my number one spot. However, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to myself. This might actually not surprise anybody about the pick that I'm about to choose right now, but this is my number one pick and the first concrete pick of my draft today. Enjoy this one. And there we go. One-Winged Angel by Nobuo Uematsu from Final Fantasy VII is my number one draft pick for video game OST tracks. Honestly, when I came up with the list, this was always the one I went to. It holds very, very dear to me. I hear it every single year because I play through Final Fantasy VII once a year. It's just a tradition that I've got amongst over the last 6 or 7 years. I think I've been doing it now. But Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and it's only fitting that my number one draft pick was going to be Final Fantasy VII. Now, I will say that this was not my original choice, and I would have been cheating had I gone for the choice that I actually wanted. I wanted the Advent Children version. And I did some research, and it didn't act. I was hoping that it would appear in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It did not. There is another version that appears in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it's not as good as this one. So I've gone OG. It is an epic track. Like, if you've played Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth is the big bad in that game. The final fight is a two-stage thing. In fact, actually, the first track from Sephiroth's first form, before he goes big, epic, holier-than-thou God mode, is actually a brilliant track. Birth of God. Really, really good. But when it transitions, it's a one-winged angel. Like, you feel it. And I remember hearing this for the first time. I think I must have spent about 10 when I first completed the game. And I was stuck on this fight for weeks. So I listened to this on a loop. A lot. But it was an epic song. Loved it back then. Love it even more now. It's the first Nobuo Uematsu track to contain vocals as well. And fun fact, before I get Dars's input on this bit right here, when I was a kid, I used to think it was Sephiroth, let their bodies bloody rot. It is not that. It's all Latin. I don't know what they're saying, but that's what I used to think it said. But Dars, what are your thoughts on this first pick?
Well, it was inevitable that you'd go for something from Final Fantasy VII, wasn't it?
It is good. I love it.
Yes, it is.
I did toy with a couple of Final Fantasy VII tracks, actually, but every single time I took this one out, I had to put it back in again. Put it back in again. There's nothing I could do about it. Now, unlike Dars's Shenmue, I will not be playing this all the way through because it's still got another 3 minutes to run. So we'll drop off that one for now, and we'll have a look at our picks table right below. So round one in the bag. Dars went first. The Sedge Tree from Shenmue, with me replying with some One-Winged Angel, Final Fantasy VII, and let's have a look at what some people have been saying in chat here. Genevra, Kenny Omega would be proud. Now, if anybody is a wrestling fan here as well, you'll automatically recognize that track. Kenny Omega, big Final Fantasy VII fan, and of course, the One-Winged Angel is his finishing move. So a big one there, one from Ellie, old Ellie. The track has soul, referencing Dars's Shenmue track. And that's actually bob on. That is actually bob on. That is a very soulful track.
Yes, it is.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, Dars, if you want to...
that's the ways.
It's good for the soul. So, yeah, Dars, if you want to fire over your second
So here
pick.
comes track number 2, and it is being sent to you right now. Come on, internet. We're zooming back to the year 1985 on this one. And it starts with a bit of an ear shocker.
Okay. I'm curious about this one. I don't know this one. So here we go, everybody. This is Dars's second pick. Enjoy. You weren't wrong. So, Dars, Monty on the Run.
Yes, Monty on the Run by Rob Hubbard. This is a track that is by the pretty much universally regarded as the best composer that worked on the Commodore 64. Probably his best track. Monty on the Run. A platformer game. It's based loosely on the Dick Barton theme, which was known as the Devil's Gallop. And it's just such a great song, such a great track for this game, because it's all about, you know, trying to escape from the law and just literally being on the run. And it's got that adventure, fast, you know, running sort of feel. And it just gets more and more manic as the song progresses. I call it a song, it's just my old habit of calling everything a song. And the funny thing is, there's been a kind of a tradition in fans of the Commodore 64 music that this track is often performed live, and because it gets very, very fast to the end, I've seen, you know, violinists do it live. It's very, very difficult to play, but guitarists do it as well. It's but it just is it's such an iconic track, and it's one of the first cases where there was a game where I would often just load it up just to listen to the music, because it is just so good.
I gotta admit, like, this is... I mean, you were right. It was an assault of the ears at the very start. But, like, once this kicks in, like, it is so good. It's very, very catchy.
It really is, yeah. And it's one of those things that's, I suppose, much imitated. But the funny thing is that at the time I didn't know that it was based on the Dick Barton theme. Because, I mean, it's a track that most of us, I think, will have heard, even if we don't know what it's called. It was, you know, from an old radio show way back when. Often used as background for, like, you know, adventure scenes in a sort of comedy way. But until someone pointed out to me that Hubbard had said, you know, it was based on Devil's Gallop, I didn't realise that was the connect. Once you have it pointed out to you, it's really obvious. But it's great, because although it's based on that earlier track, it's got its own personality. It really does, and it uses the Commodore 64 sound system really very well indeed.
So is Monty on the Run the game?
Monty on the Run is the game and the name of the track. There were a series of Monty games. It started with Monty Mole, was Auf Wiedersehen Monty, which also had a really, really good soundtrack, which was Rock Hard and Daglish. There was Impossible as well. But Monty on the Run is to me, it's the better one in terms of the audio.
I mean, you can tell because this is ramping up. Like this is like going up levels and levels, like he said. This is really good. It's actually really, really good.
But can you imagine a band playing it live? It's really something.
So there we go. There's Daz's second pick, Monty on the Run, the theme from the game. Very, very good. Yeah, I think a lot of people were vibing to that. I think a lot of people were vibing to that one. Now, I've been thinking about... whilst that track was playing, I've actually changed what my number 2 is. And this will be a theme throughout this entire draft as I juggle things around. But having actually looked at this and really thought about this in the 2 minutes whilst you were talking, I'm pretty happy with my change. I'm pretty happy with my change. So, with that said, my second pick is none other than this little gem. Enjoy. And there we go. We have the Halo theme as my second pick in today's draft. It was already in my top 4, so I've literally just jiggled around what was already a concrete pick. But what I love, and exactly what we just said there, I've just seen something somebody said there in chat, and we'll highlight that in just a moment. But goosebumps every single time I hear that chorus kick in. It is amazing. And you could honestly leave the Halo theme at that alone. When you fire up that game, or you're in the menu, or in certain points of the game, you hear that, you can leave it as that. But then you transition from this into what you're hearing right now, and it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Fantastic bit of composing from, I forget, Martin O'Donnell. Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize if I've got that wrong, Martin. I know you're watching. But it's such a good video game track. It's still a huge part of the franchise now, and for good reason. And I've seen so many reworks of it as well. Amazing track. If you want to get into Halo, you want to feel that adrenaline before you go in, you cannot overlook the Halo theme. Dars, what are your thoughts on the Halo theme?
Well, that is a classic, and you just... What can you say? You've already said it really about the chorus coming in and everything. It's so dramatic. Whenever I think of Halo, I think the first couple of missions, which I honestly kind of gave up on when I first tried playing it, and I sort of co-opted it with a friend later on and got more into it. And also the fact that there's places that you can stand in the in the original Halo where you can see the gap from the skybox, and it looks like the Halo's broken. Nothing to do with the music, but those are my memories of Halo.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm with. Like I've just said all this like wonderful stuff about the track and stuff, but Halo 1 is my least favorite Halo game out of all of them, and it might be controversial. It might be controversial, but the Flood ruined that game for me. And anytime I revisit it, and I will do on stream at some point in the future, go through the whole series. But Halo 1 is a slog to me. But at the very least, I have this wonderful track to accompany me through the whole campaign. So it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Let's have a look and see what some of the members of chat said during that round of picks. Monkey Boy always loved me some 8-bit music, and I have a feeling, Dars, there may be a little bit of this going on today.
Looking through my list, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
I see. You're going to play it that way. You're going to play it that way. Tease everybody. Tease everybody. And we also have Lucky Gabe. Halo theme is a banger. Absolutely is a banger. It's so recognizable. Yeah, I'm pretty happy I bumped that up to number 2. I feel quite sad for what I bumped down because it's also one that holds near and dear to me. But you're going to find that out on pick numero 3. But Dars, it's back over to you, my friend.
It is. So I'm heading back into the mainstream, if I was ever there to start with. This is a bit more of a conventional pick. Are you ready? Have you got it?
Oh, you have pulled it out of the bag with this one. Everybody, enjoy Dars's 3rd pick. Enjoy this one.
I had to start speaking sooner or later, but because this electric piano bit, it goes into a version of Azure Blue World, which is the first bit of music you hear in an action stage in Sonic Adventure. Yeah, it's a great track, and originally I had picked Azure Blue World, and then I was looking through an interview with Jun Senway, who composed it, and they introduced it with Windy and Ripley, and I thought, oh, no, Windy and Ripley is so much better. And it includes Azure Blue World as well, so I switched to that. That's what it is. It's just a great Sonic-y track. It's exactly the kind of track that you needed when you were moving Sonic into the 3D world. Of course, it's another one from Dreamcast. We've had 2 from Dreamcast so far. So what do you think of that, Ditz?
Well, I think you've literally just hit the nail on the head by saying, like, if you hear that, you know it's a Sonic track. It's the thing I love about Sonic Adventure is it's full of these. Like, this isn't just a one-off. Like, it's full of these little gems. And it
really is. Sonic
game.
Adventure is absolutely full of great tracks. It's incredible how much good music there is in Sonic Adventure, and it is very Sonic-y, and that's Jun Senway. I mean, he's really the king of defining that sound, and of course did music for a lot of the Sonic games and Nights into Dreams, which I both like as a game. But it's I mean, it's one of those tracks that just distills it right down, and Sonic Adventure had to be in there, and really this was, as soon as I thought of this track, it had to be in there.
And it's a very, very good pick, and I can see why you put it down as a concrete track. And everybody who's currently watching this live have enjoyed that one. They've enjoyed that one, and we'll highlight some of those messages.
People are actually enjoying one.
The problem is now you've played, and this is where strategery comes into play with this draft. This is the competitive side. You've now played that track, and I am now doubting the rest of my picks. So now I have to I think I'm going to stick to my guns here. And I'm going to go with what was originally my second pick and then bumped away for Halo. But this one is also a banger, all right? And I will have nobody else tell me different. This one is also an absolute banger. And if you know me and you've been following the stream for a little while, it's actually been a little bit of a meme here for many years. Not so much now, but at least when we used to start, this used to get me through many a Dark Souls battle. So enjoy this pick, and I think you all will. And I'll tell you why I picked it. Well, I think it speaks for itself, really. But I'll tell you why I picked it in about a minute's time. Enjoy. The Wii Sports theme. Could it be anything else? Could it be anything else? The Wii Sports theme. The opening few bars to this track are instantly recognizable. This will take you straight back to those days where everyone used to throw their controllers at the TV, whether it be on purpose or whether it be a complete accident. Wii Sports was the ultimate in, like, community game when the Wii came out, whether it be with your family, friends, or whatever it may be. What an amazing theme to go with what was an iconic game. And it still is. It still is. And I'm very, very grateful to Wii Sports as well, because it has got me through so many tough video game moments, specifically Dark Souls boss battles. If we need it, we will harness our inner Wii Sports, we'll play the track, and we'll still lose. But it helps me get a little bit further into the boss fight. But Dars, what are your thoughts on Wii Sports? That rhymes.
Wii Sports, here's the thing with Wii Sports. It does musically borrow just a little bit, doesn't it? From Bach, doesn't it? From GC Joy of Man's Desiring. That main tune is a little bit similar.
I'll take your word for it.
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter really, because I'm not, you know, it was still used in the game, but all I can do with that one is play dirty, because it is a really good track.
It's so good. We'll just leave it here. We'll just let it play. We'll just let it play. No, it's a very, very good track. That's rounded out our third round picks. So as things stand, Dars, you have got yourself the Sedtree, Shenmue, Monty on the Run, and Windy and Ripley from Sonic Adventure. And on my side, One Winged Angel, Final Fantasy VII, the Halo theme, and now the Wii Sports theme. But let's have a look and see what some people have said about our picks. Jameface, for your Sonic track, this hit that nostalgia hard for me. And I think a lot of that is going to be like this today, Dars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you've got that nostalgia connection, you're just going to get it. The thing is, if you don't remember the game, if you've never heard the music, you're not going to have that connection, because it's going to take you back to happier times, isn't it? I hope.
Yeah.
And it makes it casts that over to the music, you know.
And I had to throw this one in there again. Jamie, you've got a double shout out here. You've got a double shout out. Hang on, let me find it. There it is. I can just imagine throwing the Wii remote at my TV screen now.
Yes, happier times.
Happier times.
Televisions.
And I don't know if anyone actually hit any relatives as well. I'm sure that was a thing. You're just even wildly swinging during tennis and taking out your younger siblings or, or your elderly relatives.
Or boxing, specifically boxing.
Oh, boxing.
You would actually physically hit the other person. Or a friend of mine hit the light bulb because I had quite a low ceiling. Smashed the light bulb, punching with the Wiimote.
It just adds to the occasion, though. Really, it just adds to the occasion.
It does. Broken glass. What would be a gaming session without broken glass on the floor?
This is now round 4, and this means one thing. This is the last concrete picks that both me and Dars have. After this, any track is up for grabs to be stolen by one or the other. So, Dars, what is your final pick that you're going to cement within your top 4?
This one is going to be, as I've said to you, it is from the Amiga. It is Turrican 2, The Final Fight by Chris Hulsbeck.
Everybody, enjoy. So there we go. Darza is your 4th pick. Why The Final Fight?
Because it's brilliant. It is another one of those ones where I would load up the game to play the music, but it had a music test from the main menu, which there was so much music in Turrican 2. And in fact, there's been modern versions of it, been remastered and re-released. It really has stood the test of time. From a technical standpoint, it uses Chris Hulsbeck's TFMX system, because the Amiga could only play 4 sounds at once, but he managed to get it to play 7. It's quite ingenious, and this track really shows it off well, and you get a very rich sound. Plus, you listen to the whole thing, it's quite a long track, but towards the end there's a chord change. If you know, in music you get the sensation of the freedom, which it just makes like a little shiver go down your spine. You think, oh, that was incredible. And there's this chord change towards the end where it gets me every time, even after all these years. It's absolute. It is a brilliant track, and for the 16-bit era, bearing in mind it wasn't being played from a CD or anything like that. It's effectively a tracker module. It's just sonically brilliant, and a great piece of music as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you here, Dars. I've never heard of Turrican, or Turrican 2, for that matter.
It's a whole series of Turrican games, and they split them out.
So, this is my first time hearing this, and it is very, very good. It is very, very good. So, you've done well. It's got that nice little epic feel to it. It lives up to its name, being the final fight. You can picture that. Yeah, bravo. Good choice. Very good choice. And again, so another popular one with the people watching right now. So for me, I'm gonna chill things out a little bit. I'm gonna bring things down a little bit. I've gone pretty hard with my first 3 tracks, but I think we need like a little bit of relaxation, if you will. And I can't think of anything more relaxing than this little ditty. So there we go. Besaid Island, Final Fantasy X. Another Nobuo Uematsu track in my top 4. This was actually my number 2, like from when we first did this list. But out of every track that is in Final Fantasy X, there is nothing I play more than this right here. If I ever need just like, and this is, I mean, we're talking, like, we're transcending the video game space right now. If I just need to relax, I need something just to chill me out, take me out of whatever's going on, I play Besaid Island. And it also marks like a really good point for the game as well. When you arrive, when you ride in Besaid for the first time, meet Waka and all the wonderful blitzballers that are very, very good at what they do. Like, it just opens up Final Fantasy X into this new area. Introduces you to all the main characters. Besaid is the launching pad for that whole game, essentially. But the track is super relaxing. It fits the location absolutely perfectly. Like, just now I can picture Tidus running, like his little goofy run that he does, but it's all in tune to this song. It's brilliant. Dars, what are your thoughts on this little number?
Well, this is a game that I don't actually know because I haven't played this one. It's a very chilled out track, though. It sounds very nice. And I'm actually surprised you don't use it as background music when you're playing other things.
It's funny you should say that, because I when I had my Paradise screen up a couple of months back, this was the first track that played.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of an Amiga track that I almost considered including myself, which was Jamaica Rum from the Winning Post on the Amiga. But it's, yeah, for all of the upbeat, fast tracks, it's nice to have ones that are really relaxing and just atmospheric. It's very atmospheric. Yes.
And I've had... I find this absolutely blasphemous, by the way. There are some people, the remaster of this game came with a remastered soundtrack as well. And there's a lot of people that say the Besaid track in that, the rework of it, is better than this. I am telling you now, whether you're watching this live on Twitch or you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, and you think that, you are wrong. You are wrong. This is the Besaid Island track. This is where it starts, and this is where it ends. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. Love it. That's the end of round 4. But let's have a look and see what some of the guys in chat have said. This is one for you, Dars. This is Helix. The retro stuff absolutely slaps. So good for its time. In reference for your Turrican pick there.
Yeah, I love retro. I do a lot of retro stuff. I live in retro land.
And I'm going to give Dars a little bit of a plug here, by the way. Because I'm nice like that. Even though I'm currently battling him, I will give him a plug. If you haven't checked out Dars' music, please go and do so. If you're watching this on YouTube, Dars' albums on Spotify are linked in the description. So if you do want that flavor of retro, it is all down in the description right now. Go and check that out. There's 2 albums in there, both absolutely fantastic. Go and have a look at those. And I'm also going to give you another chat highlight here, Dars. I'm really blowing smoke up your arse here.
Thank you.
Monkey Boy. Reference your Turrican pick. Personally, the best so far. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that was nice. That is nice. It is a great track. It is a great track. And I hope Chris Hillspec is proud to hear that if he watches and listens.
Oh, he will be watching this, 100%.
Yeah, no, it is nice, and I should say that I did ask you when we were talking about this before, because I have done some video game soundtracks, and I said, can we pick our own stuff? I didn't in the end, because that would have been far too self-centered, but I thought, I suppose you could, couldn't you?
I mean, technically, yes. It does. I mean, it is the rules. Like it's a track that is within a video game, so you could have done.
Yeah.
But I don't know what people would have thought about that though, Dars. Now I was just blowing smoke up your arse. You'll be blowing smoke up your own arse.
My own arse, yeah. It's like it's those people that go on Desert Island Disc and only pick their own music.
Yeah.
That has happened.
So you just got to let me do it for you.
Yeah, smoke blowing up arses, that's very much your side of things, yeah.
Renowned. Absolutely
I provide
renowned.
the arse, you provide the smoke.
Right, so that is the end of round 4. We've still got a number of picks left to go. However, every pick now is up for grabs with the steel power-up. So Dars can take any one of my picks, and I can take any one of his, should we decide that that's the route we want to go down. So Dars, your 5th pick. What are you going to give us?
You already. It is, sent it to us. Again, we are, I think it's actually early 90s now, but it's 8-bit again, it's Commodore 64. It's Flimbo's Quest by Rainer Wehand.
Check this out, everybody. Dars, before I even let you talk about why you've chosen this track, honestly, I feel like I should just give you this. I should just give you this track. This track, I've never heard this before. It is fantastic.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so happy.
It's another one of those games. It's another one of those games where pretty much every piece of music in the game is brilliant. And most of the music in the game is done by Jerome Tell of Maniacs of Noise. The introduction music that plays, if you're playing the tape version of the game or the cartridge version of the game, when the title comes up, is written by Ryan. And that's the version, that's what you're hearing here. And way back when I was doing stuff with C64 Audio, with Chris Abbott, I did actually do covers of every single track in this game, including this one. And it's another one where I've played it live as well. And I still use it as a warm-up, as with the Shenmue track, because it's actually quite an easy one to play, but it's a lot of fun to listen to. And if you look at Ryan's YouTube channel, there's a great little video of him playing this track live on an old organ, and it sounds really good. But he's done several different versions of it over the years. There's one on one of the Back in Time albums, I think. It's with the, is it Back in Time? It may be his own album, where it's like a banjo backing and so on. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
I really like this, and honestly, I this is the first pick of the brand new relaunch of Draft That, and I really want to steal it, but I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna hold out and see what else you've got. But just be warned, it's in my sights. It's so good. I've never heard this before. I'm honestly, this is added to my playlist. It's so good. What a bop.
It's a good little game as well. It really is. It's a great little platform game, System 3.
It's just, I can't get enough of it. I don't want to stop playing it. I don't want to stop playing it. But I'm going to have to stop playing it because I have my own pick to go for. And, I mean, how the hell do I counteract that? What am I supposed to pick to go against something so boppy? And I've got a whole list of tracks in front of me, and now they're all morphing into one. I've got to go epic. I've got to go epic. I've got to go hard with this track. I'm going to go for it. I'm unleashing it a lot earlier than I thought I was going to. But if I've got any hope,
never mind, I could steal it.
Or you could steal it. Please don't. But you could steal it. Enjoy this one. You will all know exactly what this is. Enjoy. And there we go. At Doom's Gate, of course, from Doom, and heard in many Doom games actually, and there's a lot of reworks in there as well. The 2016 version is actually very, very good as well. But this just brings me back to all that slaying from the very first Doom game that I definitely was not old enough to play when it first came out. It's still a game that I play to this very day. It is one of the most epic video game tracks that you will hear, and it just meshes with the theme and everything to go with that game. Like, you think Doomslayer, you think this track, it is fantastic. Dars, any memories of this little track? Which will begin.
I'll tell you after I steal it.
What?
Of course I'm going to steal it.
The steal has been activated.
It has, yeah. But Doom, well, of course, it was a track that I had considered including because it is iconic. It's one of those that goes beyond just being, oh, this is great. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows Doom. And yeah, I know he said please don't. The chat said please don't. Yeah, how could I not?
That has deeply upset me. That has deeply upset me. Deeply upset me. So Dars, what this has happened?
Why did you put it in one of your top 4?
Because it doesn't beat the top 4 for me. I didn't think you would touch it.
Of course I would.
But what this does mean, Dars, is that this takes up your 6th pick.
It does.
As you've stolen this. I will move this across to you now. And this also means I need to pick a new round 5 pick. Oh my god,
I've got to sort out my numbering now.
Unbelievable. I feel like I just need to steal your Flimbo's quest out of spite. Although it would be a good steal. It would be a very, very good steal.
Well, if you did that, then our numbering would be back to normal again.
So as things look here on the on the board, Dars of course has 2 more picks than me now. Though Dars' 5 and 6 are locked in. Flimbo's Quest and At Doom's Gate, which I also need to throw in at the end here with a little bracketed S for steal. You absolute bastard! Right now, I need to come out swinging. I need to come out swinging.
A technical point on stealing. Could you, in theory, steal it back?
No, I did not tell you. I did not tell you that point. But yes, you cannot steal one back that you've had stolen. Oh no, I will have that back. Thank you very much. It's just a one big game of pass the parcel. Right, I need to go hard with these next 2 tracks, and this is really. I honestly didn't think you were going to steal that, so it's thrown me a little bit. So I'm going to go mainstream with number 5, and then my number 6 is going to be a little bit outside the box, but it is wonderful. But my number 5, instantly recognizable. You will all know exactly what this is. Enjoy. Honestly, I want to give like some big old spiel on this, but you've deeply upset me. It is the Super Mario Brothers theme, one of the most recognizable themes in video game history. So recognizable, in fact, that even people who call us idiots for liking video games, they even know what this is. Nothing quite sells a video game franchise like the Super Mario Bros. Theme. When you're jumping, when you do the side-scrolling stuff, you're jumping on bricks, jumping on countless amounts of Goopas or whatever they're called. It's this track. It's this track that you think of. Mario, you think about this track. It is the video game track for so many people. There's a reason it's in my top 10. It was always going to be in my top 10. I've hit it out a little bit earlier than I had planned. Thank you, Dars. Dars, what are your thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Theme?
Oh, it's another iconic one. But you look at it, we're also used to it. When you actually think about it, it's a really weird track. It probably shouldn't work as well as it does, but it works so well in situ.
So, just out of curiosity, from a musical mind, why do you think that?
Because it has a very weird, rhythm, particularly for a video game theme, and it's because they're going for that sort of traditional sort of Italian sound. But it's just a bit offbeat. Now, the underground theme, which I just mentioned, but I've mentioned, is even weirder rhythmically. But it was just very creative music for that game. It really was, and people don't give it credit for that. But I will say that there's a full orchestral version of the Super Mario Bros. Theme, which they dig out from time to time, and they've made it twee. It's not nearly as good as the original console version.
I've heard the orchestral version. I agree. Like this is how it needs to be played. Like it's not a bad cover of what this is, but that opening bit right there, like you can't replicate that in any other way.
No, you can't.
I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked to the core about your steal. Yes, Super Mario theme, my number 5, and because Stars did steal my Doom pick, that means that I also get the next pick, which is a little bit different from what you've just heard. And in fact, actually, this only arrived in my top 10 today. This arrived in my top 10 today. So enjoy this one. Some people might recognize it, some people might not, but I'll be sure to fill you in on exactly why I've chosen this one. So enjoy. And there we go. That is Welcome to Rapture from BioShock 1. Some people might recognize that, some people might not, but it is the musical piece that plays as you are descending into Rapture for the very, very first time. And the epic bit in the middle of that track that you just heard is when you just come over the rocks and see Rapture for exactly what it is. For me, BioShock is a top 10 game. It's a wonderful story. The music in it is brilliant. Even the stuff that isn't OST, just like the tracks that are like Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin's in there. There's loads of great stuff in there. But I checked out the OST and immediately went to this track, and I can't help but have Andrew Ryan's voice in my head as that is playing. An amazing opening to an amazing game. Sets everything off perfectly. The violins are just so on point. Have you heard this one before? Do you like this one?
I have heard it before, but I didn't recognise it. That's an interesting thing, because I realised that as you were playing it, I didn't remember much of the BioShock music. And, with BioShock, I tend to think of things like Sandaco and Fort Frolic and the Would You Kindly stuff and all that. somehow the music didn't leave its mark on me. So yeah, I wouldn't have picked this one. It's a nice enough piece, I'll give you that. It is nice, but doesn't do it for me somehow.
I would say out of any, out of all the Bioshock tracks that there are, with the exception of maybe ones that are in Infinite, because there are some good ones in that as well. This one is a pick based purely on feeling. Like, it's a great musical piece, but this one just hits me in the feels, and is exactly why it's found its way into my top 10. But yeah, we've had to do a little bit of reshuffling, because that's what you're going to see here on the picks board. Doom was right below me here on my side. Doom is now over on that side. So things have changed a little bit. So we've had our 5 and 6 picks there. So round 5, Dars went with Flimbo's Quest, and then stole at Doomsgate to go for his round 6 pick. I replaced Doom with Super Mario Bros. Theme, and my 6th round pick, Welcome to Rapture from Bioshock. Wonderful. Dars, if you want to fire over track 7, if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, this is an excerpt from the soundtrack to a game, which is in fact a concept album. The game and the concept album are one. It is Deus Ex Machina, which I've misspelt in the title, by Mel Croucher. So play this bit and see what bit, and I'll then tell you a little bit about it.
What you got? I'm a fertilising agent. My brothers are all wriggly. I'm a fertilising agent. My brothers are all wriggly. Touch us with a digit. Make us go all giggly. Stir us up, Tavarich. Handy as a manual. Sinister and Dexter. Handy as a manual. Help us, Father Woodlice. Tax collectors and a spaniel.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the song of a singing sperm. So I've completely gone off on one on this, as you may have noticed. Deus Ex Machina is a conceptual game by Mel Croucher Automata that covers the development and life of a defect in the system that is born of a machine, and into this totalitarian government that then tries to track it down and destroy it, but it tries to escape. Did you recognise Ditz, the vocalist on that track?
No. Is it somebody in one of your own tracks by any chance?
No. Way too famous. Did anybody recognise it?
At first,
I'm guessing they didn't.
mewling
That was Ian
Tube's neck.
And the track also included John Pertwee, Frankie Howard, would you believe? Donna Bailey, and it's just insane that you got all these people together to do this soundtrack for this game in the 80s. He did a kind of a remake of it in the 2000s with Christopher Lee taking over from John Pertwee. They reused the Injuri track, voice tracks for that. Particular excerpt there is the fertilizing agent, obviously. The machine is picking an artificial father to be the of the machine's child, which then becomes the defect, which Croucher himself plays in the soundtrack. It's an incredible album to listen to. If I played the whole thing, it's a full album. But it's one of those really weird, bizarre times that you either, if you've seen it, you'll never forget it. Otherwise, you'll go, what on earth is this? But I had to include it just because of the creativity and the bizarre cast list managed to assemble for it.
I mean, it's certainly very different. It is very, very different. I haven't heard this before. But it's a very Dars track. A very Dars track. If I was to associate this with anybody, it would be you. It's got you written all over it. It's had a certain amount of
influence over me, has it?
But it's definitely very quirky. Definitely very, very
also,
quirky.
when I was picking which track, which part of it to use as my example, I thought it has to be the one about the sperm.
Naturally. Right, okay, so I need to counteract that one for...
I think it'll be easy for you.
My round 7 pick. Right, we're going to go with... it's actually tough. Again, like, my list has just gone to pot ever since you... In fact, actually, it went to pot from pick 1, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with this one, though, because it is... It seems to be a bit of a theme, actually, but it's epic. I would describe this as epic. It's a big hard-hitting part of the game, especially like the opening 10, 20 seconds or so. And it comes from a game that I hold near and dear to my heart. So a lot of you will recognize this. In fact, I would imagine pretty much all of you will recognize this. But enjoy, and I'll tell you the reasoning why for this pick in just a few seconds. Here we go. And there we go. Encounter from Metal Gear Solid 1. If this doesn't give you any kind of adrenaline when you're playing Metal Gear Solid 1, or doing anything for that matter, it's the kind of music that when you're playing a game that is completely based around stealth for the most part, you want to get caught so you can hear this track. It's epic in scale. It makes you like big part of the whole escaping the guards who have seen you, or certain boss fights that it's a part of. I can't think of video games from my childhood without this being in there. In fact, for a long time, this was my ringtone. I've since replaced it with another Metal Gear Solid sound, which is the codec ringtone. And in fact, actually, fun fact for anybody that's some people who have been around since the very first days of Twitch, the very first starting soon screen I had was this music as well. But yeah, like it had the whole soundtrack actually for Metal Gear Solid is really, really good. But that is like head and shoulders above all the other tracks that is on there. And in my head, I can picture running away from guards, doing the loop-de-loops, the Wahoo footprints of these. Tremendous video game track. Perfect for the Metal Gear Solid series. Big fan, clearly, because it's in my top 10. Daz, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's another famous one, isn't it? And as soon as I heard it, I thought, yeah, you would pick that, wouldn't you? And indeed, you did. You had picked it because that's what
you would pick that, wouldn't you?
You would pick that. I do think that at Doomsgate, so I'm still glad I stole that. But no,
I'm not bitter about that.
Good track. And yeah, in all honesty, Metal Gear Solid, yeah, I mean, that is the track you associate with it, isn't it?
I would say so, yeah. It's been reworked like a
yeah.
couple of times as well.
It is predictable, yes. Shouldn't be quoted, but yeah.
Yeah. But
No,
well, speaking of chat,
tracks from Metal Gear Solid, but that is the Metal Gear Solid track, isn't it?
I mean, there are some good other tracks within that game that are really, really good, but nothing even comes close to that. As what is backed up here by Punisher, it's an iconic piece of music, which is really what I need when I'm drafting music. So I need that. I need that. This one's from Gabe. Reference your pick, Dars. Ditz is stealing that one.
Yes, dripping with sarcasm. It was one of those where I picked it and I thought there'll be so many people that appreciate the artistry in this, the creativity. And as soon as I started playing it, I thought, nah, they're not going to get it, are they? I'm too sophisticated for chat. Me and my sperm songs.
Oh, dearie me. Right, Dars. Have you got any more sperm tracks up your sleeves for round 8?
The word is seminal. No, this next one, this is Amiga again. This is actually from this is from I think it was a shareware game. So this is Cybernetics, the first battle.
And here we go, everybody. Enjoy. So, Dars, why this one?
Because it's good. No, it's because it's... Oh, again, it's just one of these where it just fitted the game so well. And it was another one where I would start up the game to listen to the music. And it was a good game. It was basically a variation on a combination of Asteroids and Defender. But ultimately, the music was what sold it for me. There were two great pieces of music in it. The hard music was good as well. They'd actually put them both in the same module for people that are curious. But no, it's just it's great. And I did do my own version of this one later on because I tend to do that with tracks I like. But yeah, what I can say is it's a track that, again, it's nostalgic for me, and it just fits the game really, really well for this, space battle, destroying asteroids and rescuing humans game. It's really good. It gets the blood flowing a bit.
Yeah, again, this is the first time hearing this one, and I've never even heard of Cybernetic, actually, to be completely honest. But I like it. It's like this whole era of video game music. It just speaks to me. Like if you're a big fan of video games and you appreciate the art form, like when you look back at the music of this era, particularly, because everything now you could fit into anything. There's a lot of orchestral stuff. Like it wouldn't, and nothing would feel out of place in movies, TV, all that kind of stuff. But back then, you would never get this in a movie and stuff because it's always been like that with movies. This always had its like 8-bit charm, its 16-bit charm, and yeah, this one hits different. It's really, really good, really, really good. Not quite Steel territory, but it is still very, very good.
That's one way of saying he doesn't actually love really.
Oh no, I do dig it. But you know what I dig more? My round 8 pick is what I dig more. Here we go. Let me load this one up. This one is This one I've played on stream before in the past, and it literally was entered into. In fact, it was actually a reserve until about 10 minutes ago. So it's crept its way in to my top 10. But it's very, very good, this. It's very, very good. Enjoy it, because I know I will. And I'll tell you why it's my pick very, very shortly. Enjoy. Oh, the temptation just to let that go and just listen to it. This is the Civilization 6 main theme, composed by Christopher Tin. Very, very good. I went through a phase last year, and actually, for a couple of years, I've been playing Civilization, trying to get into it. But Civilization 6, I don't know, it just hit a little bit differently, and as soon as you hit the main menu, you're greeted with this music right here. And it'll take you through whenever you're picking your campaigns. When Sean Bean, of all people, is narrating your chosen leader, this is bellowing out in the background in its big, massive, epic nature. It's just, it feels like a big, like it sells the whole Civilization theme. Like it's very historical. It feels historical. It's the chorus is perfect. The actual composition behind it is amazing. Nothing got me hyped up or more hyped up for a Civilization round than this. And then it's actually, when you actually get into the game, the music just goes boom. There's nothing. So you go from this grandiose piece of music to just birds chirping. But it's such a good video game track. It's the first thing you hear when you open Civilization 6. And if that doesn't sell a game, I don't know what does. But Dars, I don't know if you've heard this one before, but what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, yes, I've heard this one. And in fact, it was one that I considered.
Oh, really?
It really is. Yeah, it's a fantastic track. Reminiscent of Adiamus, of course. You know? And if you know it, it's quite similar. But it's just so dramatic and so sweeping. And that's the thing with Civilization games. You've got to come in with a really big, this is, human history we are writing from scratch sort of sound. There was an earlier Civ game, and I'm trying to remember what it was, where it just went through. It was kind of an orchestral build-up, but you had these sound effects that were playing in the background, and it just would get faster and faster and faster. And as you went through the history of human civilization, and then you had like cars starting and everything, it was just that had a really good sensation of moving through time. But this has drama, This is and the grand strategy.
And that does,
Civ 6 is grand strategy.
It actually makes me want to go and play Civilization 6 again. I've actually bought this game on the Xbox, PC, Switch. You name it. I've got it on a console. This is like my GTA 5. It is my GTA 5.
They are basically the same game, aren't they? They're very much the same game.
Oh, absolutely.
I imagine that you play Civ 6 a bit like Trevor would.
Oh, exactly the same. Exactly the same. It's very violent, Civ 6. Very, very violent.
It is. So, my next one is, this one is Dreamcast. It is Metropolis Street Racer, Richard Jakes. And I'll tell you before you actually play it, they made an interesting decision with this game that rather than licensing in music, they would make their own sound-alikes. So it's not like a cover of an existing song, but it is impersonating a real band. See if you can guess which band it is.
Okay, I'm interested. Right, well, here we go. Let's see if anybody else who's currently in the
mid-90s,
live
by
chat.
the way, so.
Mid-90s, right, here we go. Let's play this one. Now, Daz, before you jump in, I've got to give you my my thoughts here. And I think everyone in the live chat also sees it. Oasis, initially,
isn't it?
However, I'm also with the chorus. I'm getting are they called Third Eye Blind? Who did that? That one. I get that vibe on the chorus as well.
Yeah, but it's really trying to be a fake Oasis. Particularly in the second verse where he goes and let it shine, like they're so doing that. But all of the soundtrack to Metropolis Street Racer is like that, you know. Well, almost all of it, because it's a racing game. It's actually the first game in the Project Gotham Racing series, and it was the first one I think where they used real map data as well to make the tracks, because they actually modelled areas of London, Tokyo, and San Francisco for the game, which was quite something for the Dreamcast. And they had the radio station for each country, and they obviously needed music for it. So there's a few different genres along the way, but you've got these great little impersonations. It's actually a soundtrack that I still listen to from time to time. It's really, really well done. Of course, Richard Jake, enormously well-known composer in the field, and multiple award-winning in every aspect. He's gone on to bigger and better things, but I think this is an incredible piece of work, all the same.
And big shout out to Project Gotham Racing, by the way. That is an underrated gem of a series, and I'm gutted it's no longer a thing. But it was replaced by Forza, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But no, that's a very, very good pick. In fact, I'm actually tempted to steal that. But I'm not going to. Because
You're being brave.
Well,
actually, no, you're not. I tell you what, you're probably being more confident with what you've picked.
This is, I'm not even going to explain this one, because you'll know exactly what it is the moment you hear it. It is amazing. It's fantastic. And I actually struggled out of which one I was going to go for, because I could have gone for any of the series theme tracks. But out of all of them, I went for probably the most iconic out of all of them, I would say. Even though like a few of them, there's a few of them I know quite well, and I've actually noticed here it's not actually in my folder, so I'm going to get it up on YouTube. But there's a few. There's a few that I'd say the latest game that they did would be the one that everybody knows, just purely because it is an absolute juggernaut of a video game. And I don't know if this is starting to ring any bells for anybody, but let me just get this on YouTube, and you can hear the wonder that is this track right here. Enjoy, everybody. And there we go. GTA San Andreas. And yeah, like you think of Grand Theft Auto themes, surely this one has to come to mind. And I did really struggle picking which theme to go for. It was either going to be Vice City, this, or I actually even contemplated the Soviet Connection from GTA 4, which is also a very, very good GTA theme. But everybody knows this. It's a meme. Like, it's well known for all the right reasons. Like, it really sells the theme that San Andreas was. You know, gangsters in the hood in the 90s. It is actually, and I would go as far to say it is actually perfect. Absolutely perfect. Dars, do you think fondly of this one?
Yes. And you're absolutely right. It's the track that you think of when you think GTA. And in fact, it occurred to me that if I'm trying to remember what the music is that plays during the opening titles of GTA 5, I can't help thinking it's that. Even though I know it's not. It seems to have overwritten every other piece of music in the GTA games, except for Vice City, of course, which had that great 80s soundtrack. But no, it is brilliant. It is a brilliant setup for the game. It's absolutely right. And yeah, I can't fault that pick.
Question is, would you steal this one if you...
No, I'd still go with
option?
Doom.
You would still go with Doom. Ooh.
It's more iconic. I mean, I will say that San Andreas theme is iconic, but it's not as iconic as at Doomsgate.
I would agree with that. I actually would agree with that. Hence why Doom was a little bit higher for me.
Exactly, that was my point. I would say if you didn't think that, why didn't you do it?
So there they go. That was round 9. Dar's going with the actually fantastic Live Your Life from Metropolis Street Racer. GTA San Andreas theme from me. Let's hear from some of the people here in the live chat. Let me have a look down for here. Helix. Oh, my nostalgia here is real. Take me back. And that's a big thing. Like, you think of GTA San Andreas. I can remember the first time I flashed that game up. Like, it blew me away. You know, Officer Tenpenny, voiced by Sam Jackson, taking CJ in the police car and, like, ditching him out in the street. Oh, and then you had to get down back to Grove Street on your bike. Oh, like, such a good game. It is such a good game.
Yeah, I came to it relatively late. I played it more recently. It was about 4 years ago, something like that. But I think it still stands up. Obviously, the graphics are dated, but it is a really good story. It's really, really good playability as well.
Now, unfortunately, Dars, the chat in my OBS has taken away all the comments about your track that you selected. But I can tell you this: everybody was loving that thing in chat when you were playing it. So, a very, very good pick from a very good pick from both of us there, actually. Dars, how are
Some
you...
of them certainly got it was Oasis. Or
Yes.
at least it sounded like Oasis, didn't it? But yeah.
Shine.
This is Shine.
Shine.
This is so this is my last pick, and just play it.
Just
please.
play it. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the one where I said I would bend the rules a little bit. In fact,
Oh,
I kind of
this
bent
is
rules
the
a bit
one.
with Deus Ex Machina. This is the rules bending one, because this does come from a game. It comes from a pinball machine. This
A
comes from Circus
pinball machine?
Voltaire. This is from Circus Voltaire, which was a Williams-made machine, but they released it under the Bally badge because they owned Bally at the time, and they alternated their machines between the two. And it's by Dave Zabriskie. It's just absolutely brilliant theme. It has that intro, but it just has that sense of the whole circus being electric and so on. It is that. It just makes it feel so good. And when you've got that playing, and the other music from the game is really good as well, it just really draws you in. And I loved that about the Williams pinball tables, that they had really good rule sets that actually were really well thought out, that actually made you feel like you were playing a proper game and not just whacking the ball around. Combine that with the wonderful animations they had on the backboard, the LCD and stuff. And that's my point with this, because this is how I would count it as a video game, because it did actually have a screen, and there were video game elements that you would play when you activated certain things.
Right, I'm going to have to take this to the referee's decision here. No, it's fine. No, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
No, it's a great track. I included it partly just to mess with you a bit, but also because it, it is, although it's a relatively short loop, it just does the job so damn well. And it's, I think, possibly the best pinball table ever rated as well. So, to have the best music as well, I think is amazing.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoy it. I like that little bit there. Da, 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 and how it's like integrated into the rest of it. Yeah. It's very, very good. In fact, actually, somebody in chat there pointed that out as well. Very, very good pick. Very, very good pick for your final pick. And that's how Dars's picks there have now finished. There is Dars's 10. So I can actually be a little bit more open with what I'm saying now. I still have a steal on the board, so I could steal anything from Flimbo's Quest onwards, with the exception of Doom, which still makes me a little bit bitter. And I'm really struggling with how to finish my list. I've got loads of. I mean, how I've told you how many tracks I've got in reserve, and I have one that is currently sat in my top 10. I would love. In fact, I listened to this earlier today, and the piano chord that is in there twice really brings goosebumps to me, and I feel like just based on that alone, I need to pick it. However, it is very similar to one of my other picks. With it kind of morphs into. It actually morphs into one of the other tracks within my top 10. So for that reason, I'm taking that out of my top 10, and I'm gonna replace it with. Oh God, I'm torn between two. Both are really, really good. One is like really epic in nature. Both of these are very nostalgic for me. And this is why it's a struggle for me, but I'm gonna go with the one. Oh, I'm gonna go with the one that I think it's so hard. Right, I'm gonna go with this. At least I know I can play. At least I know that I can play the one in reserve for everybody, so you can understand my my pain and frustration. But here we go. This one is actually pretty damn awesome. So enjoy this. Whilst I immediately question why I picked it, but yeah, enjoy this one. It is very, very short and sweet. This one featured Burnout 2, Point of Impact, and I believe it was also featured in Burnout Revenge as well. Burnout is my favorite racing game series of all time. I played Burnout Revenge on stream before, and I will be doing so again in the near future. But I remember firing up Burnout 2. I rented the game from Blockbusters, and this track just hits different. It hits different. It's epic. I think it's underappreciated. Nobody talks about this. Nobody really talks about this theme, and I think that's why I like it as well. I kind of feel like it's my little thing, and I know there's a few people here in the live chat, and I know there'll be people watching this on YouTube as well who, all the 2 people watching it on YouTube, they will love this track as well. Even if you've never heard it before, you hear it, you go, yeah, that's pretty badass. That's pretty badass. Let's go crash some cars. That's how I feel. That's how I feel listening to this. Dars, I know you like Burnout. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's exciting, isn't it? And it gets you in the mood for racing. Racing game soundtracks, they often have a certain sound, and Burnout is no exception. There's this kind of sound that you make when you're doing a racing game. It really does. Yeah, you just want to get people driving, don't you? And you can kind of hear all the cars being whacked out of the way in that track.
So, for anybody actually, obviously we've got the live. We're doing this live right now. But for anybody who's watching this on YouTube, just know that when this show was ended, the recording was done, we went and played Burnout because we're fueled up, we're ready to go. But no, that's my number 10 pick. Let's go and have a look at the final board here. We've got 10 each. Our picks there. Dars used his steel. Man, angry at Cloud. So, Dars, your picks, your final picks. You have the Sedge Tree from Shenmue, Monty on the Run, Windy and Ripley from Sonic Adventure, The Final Fight, Turrican 2, Flimbo's Quest, At Doom's Gate from Doom, Deus Ex Machina, The First Battle from Cybernetics, Live Your Life from Metropolis Street Racer, and Circus Voltaire rounds out Dars's fantasy video game OST tracks. Now, over on my side, right below me here, we got One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII, the Halo theme, the Wii Sports theme, Besaid Island from Final Fantasy X, the Super Mario Bros. Theme, Welcome to Rapture from Bioshock, Encounter from Metal Gear Solid, The Dream of Flight from Civilization 6, the GTA San Andreas theme, and finally, the Burnout main theme. And there we have it. They are the final picks. And as somebody's just pointed out, right there in chat, Killer Z, 2 totally different music tastes for sure. And that is, it harkens back to exactly what I said at the very start of this, there's a reason I picked Dars, because I knew it would be a lot different from what I went for.
He knew that I would pick the weird stuff and he would get an easy win.
I don't
think
feel
mine's
that
better.
confident. People have been.
I've picked stuff I genuinely like. That's the thing. I'm not saying you didn't, but the thing is, I wanted to say, there's some great music out there that's off the mainstream, and you should explore it because there's so much stuff out there that you probably haven't listened to. I look at old-time radio and TV, and I feel the same way about that. I think if people don't try the older stuff, they're missing out because there's so much good stuff.
Yeah, and well, to be fair, you've educated me on a couple of tracks today as well. So that alone, I mean, I've enjoyed the episode, as it stands. But I'm coming away with this a little bit more knowledgeable, actually, as well in some of the tracks. So I do thank you for that. And here we go.
Well,
actually,
it's fun, and it has been fun. And we've of course got some honourable mentions, haven't we?
We do have some honourable mentions, and now we're going to play 3 honourable mentions each. There's no rhyme nor reason for what we're going to hit here. But Dars, do you want to send me over your first honourable mention if you haven't done so already?
Yeah, this one would have been in my top 10, but it's way too short. It's Arcadians from BBC Micro by Nick Orlando Pelling.
And there you go.
Yeah,
I like
is
it,
that
though.
short. It's nice, and it just gets you in the mood for playing the game. That's all you need. But funny
nice little
enough,
jingle.
it's just one that I remember over and over again, that one. It also, if you ever, and I suppose I have to be careful how I say this, but Pet Shop Boys track Left to My Own Devices, the sort of mid-late in that, it finishes with a bit that sounds very much like the Arcadians jingle played on strings. But I think they came up with it independently, but it sounds similar to my ears.
But it's very good. Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. So I'll give you the one that is similar to another one that I've picked. And you'll know the piano chord when you hear it. And I'm actually starting to regret not picking it at all in my top 10. There's one I would swap out. And in fact, actually, one of the power-ups we used to have on the original conception of Draft That was a swap power-up, which gave you the ability to swap out something from your top 10 with one of your honorable mentions. Obviously, that is not in play now, but I can tell you now, if it was, this is what would be going in. And it was also a thing of having 2 Halo tracks in the top 10. But this one from Halo, like Halo 3 is really, really special to me as a game. Like I don't think I've put as many hours into it. There, that piano right there, immediately goosebumps. And especially this next bit, when it kicks in. But it feeds into the actual Halo theme itself, which is why ultimately I didn't pick it. Otherwise, I'm kind of duplicating. I'm kind of cheating a little bit. But here we go. Oh, the goosebumps! Honestly. Hit me! Here we go! And then it goes into the Halo theme that we all know and love, which is why I didn't ultimately pick it, because it does bleed into what I'd already picked. But Dars, what is another one of your honourable mentions?
This is one that was on multiple platforms, but one that I remember from the Amiga. It's Gods, Into the Wonderful by Nation 12.
Into the wonderful. Into the wonderful. Into the wonderful. Into the wonderful.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, it's a great little track. My only criticism is it doesn't really fit the feel of the game for me, but it is nice to listen to. It's a good one to listen to, and very good use of the samples for that. Bearing again in mind, we're back in the Amiga territory. Well, it was certainly a tracker module, so four sounds only. In fact, I think they would cut it down to 3 maybe for that. So everything has to be done by overlaying samples. So it's quite creative to fit that in the memory.
I like it. I would have probably had this in your 10, you know.
I probably should have put it in my 10, but, you know, I couldn't resist putting in things like the Sperm Song and the Pinball Machine.
Naturally, of course, yes. So here's the one that I struggled with between Burnout and this one. It is the reason why as well, because Burnout has it's the series theme. And this one is also the series theme, but of course there are different variations of it between titles. So this is probably my favorite of them all, and it's probably just purely down to nostalgia. But Battlefield 1942 is the most epic of the Battlefield themes. But this one, I have memories of playing this game with my dad daily. We used to go upstairs about 7 o'clock every single night for 2 hours, blasting around in Battlefield 3. And actually, you know what? This Battlefield theme is pretty badass. And it's especially when all the music drops and you just have that dun 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 when it comes up in a minute. Oh, so good. Here we go. And then, oh yes. There you go, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 3's theme. So good, so good. Daz, do you play any of the Battlefield games?
I don't think I have. I actually thought that reminded me a lot of Terminator. It's got that same beat, hasn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah.
Good certainly good for a war game, huh?
Yeah, across all the Battlefields, that is the theme to Battlefield as a whole, but they've reworked it between every single title. But yeah, this one, this one's the one. This one's the one for me. Right, Daz.
And my last honourable mention then is the Worm Song by Berlin, and I've this particular recording I've brought it in the middle of the song because it's got quite a long intro.
But another worm had also seen him and aimed to have him dead. Boggy called to Spadge, but Spadge didn't hear, and he never knew what hit him as he flew into the air. It was all too much for Boggy as he watched his best friend die, his heart filled with rage, and he gripped his rifle tight. Charging down the hill, he had to have revenge. What had Spadge done to come to such an end? Reaching the bottom of the hill, Boggy suddenly heard a click. He realised to his terror there was a mine under his tail.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Hitting several cliffs and landing in a tree, Boggy pulled himself together. There was much he had to do. Spotting the enemy down
so it's a
below, he
great,
knew this was
it's simultaneously disturbing and cute. But yeah, it's Bjorn Lynn, brilliant track. And I think that was first included with Worm's Reinforcements, which also had some very good background music for the levels. But yeah, the Worm Song is still a classic.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised neither of us went for Worms as a track in our 10, you know. I'm actually very surprised at that. this is my final. I mean, we have loads. We have loads between us.
Oh yeah, but we could both we could have done a top 20 and had reserves on top of that.
Yeah. This is my final honorable mention. This is it's fantastic. Honestly, like I mean, just listen to it. Just listen to it. You can listen to the whole thing, and I won't even interrupt it because it's got lyrics. Enjoy this one.
Uh-oh.
Me. I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat? Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin? Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt! Ah, you cursed!
And there you go. That is the great mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't feel so guilty about putting the sperm song in now. But you've got to remember, though, that isn't part of the pick. That isn't one of your picks. That's just one of the ones you didn't pick.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I didn't pick. Yeah, it's one of many that I didn't pick. In fact, there's actually 4 Conker's Bad Fur Days tracks in my reserves. But that one's pretty epic as far as video game tracks go. But there you go. There's some honorable mentions for you. Right here, as you can see, are our top 10 picks. Now here we pass things over to you guys because you ultimately decide who is going to win this. We're going to do a little vote outside of the show, and when we go back onto the live stream, for those watching live here on Twitch, we're going to put a poll up in chat. When this drops on YouTube, the winner should be announced by that point. But the vote's going to go across this stream here, Discord and Twitter, with all the numbers added up. And then we'll have a winner come the end of it. But a lot of people seem to be pushing towards you there, Dars, based on what I'm seeing here. So I think we might have.
I've been noticing a lot of people going on your direction. I think it might be close. I think I might get some points just based on the bias against you.
Yeah, there is bias. I mean, if I lose, that's exactly what I'm going to point this out. It wasn't down to my terrible ability to pick a top 10, but yeah, it was down to a complete bias. Exactly that. But there we go. That was the first episode of Draft That in the bag. Myself and the fantastic Dars going through video game OST tracks. Dars, massive thank you for coming on and being the first guest of Draft That, and hopefully there'll be many more. And of course, you have an open invitation to return at some point in the future.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to explore these tracks, to play these weird things that I find interesting.
Especially the sperm. What was it? The sperm song?
It was Fertilizing Agent from Deus Ex Machina. Yes,
that's a nice way of putting it.
But bear in mind, again, that is Ian Dury of Ian Dury and the Blockheads, the same guy who did Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, singing about.
Oh, really?
That's If you didn't know the name, that's him.
It explains things. It makes sense now. But for anybody who would like to join me on a future episode of Draft That, simply contact me, whether you're watching live here on Twitch. You can hit me up in DMs over on Discord. But if you are watching over on YouTube and you are within the community or the outer rims of the community, by all means, please drop a comment in the video below and let me know your interest. Like I said when we first started this whole episode, there are so many video game fantasy drafting scenarios that you can concoct, and I mean we've only scratched the surface today with some video game music, and I can guarantee it probably won't be the only video game music one that we end up doing. But I hope everybody enjoyed today, whether you watched it live or you're watching it now over on YouTube. Thank you very much for everybody for taking the time to sit and watch their stars again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For those watching live on Twitch, we're going to be back in a few minutes. I'm just going to throw up a quick be right back. And for those watching on YouTube, stay tuned for further episodes of Draft That. If you liked what you saw today, feel free to subscribe and throw a little cheeky like on this video, because how else am I going to know that you like this stuff? So go do all that stuff. Thank you all once again. Much love to you all, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.